guys, so it's me, Kiani. Today's video, I'm bringing you some of my newest tips and tricks on how to highlight and contour using some of my favorite new products such as the Cover FX contouring palette. And with all the new products that have come out on how to highlight and contour, I get more questions. I figured I would actually compile some of my latest tips and techniques to bring them right here to you guys. As a side note, those of you that are interested in getting one-on-one tutorial highlight and contour your very own face, you can email me at makeupbykiani@gmail.com to schedule your very own one-on-one consultation with me, Makeup by Kiani. We'll give you a 2-hour class on how to highlight and contour your very own face, and I want to continue to bring you the best of Makeup by Kiani, so make sure you leave all those comments in the down bar. But for now, without further ado, let's get to some new tips and techniques on how to highlight and contour. So to start this look off, I've already hydrated my skin with my Estee Lauder moisturizer. I put that on maybe about 10 to 15 minutes ago. Gave it enough time to kind of absorb into my skin before I start my foundation stage. Just before I applied that, I did use a skin refinisher, which is my Estee Lauder skin refinisher, to minimize any pores and to even more so allow my foundation application to be a lot more flawless. So let's begin. I've actually decided to use the matte poreless foundation. This can actually be found in your local drugstore. It's made by Maybelline. It's part of the Fit Me line, and the shade that I'm actually going to start with is Honey. I always forget what color I am because I've been testing a lot of products recent and the names are similar. So I'm actually going to apply this foundation with my Sigma flat top kabuki brush. This is the F80. I'm actually going to apply this foundation just on the top of the brush first. I'm not going to use a beauty blender just yet. This foundation is very sheer, so using just kind of putting it on with the brush gives me a very smooth application. Again, decided on this foundation because it is very sheer and it won't go too matte before I get done blending everything out. I have found that a lot of my drugstore foundations that I like, they tend to stay wet a little bit longer than my department store foundations, at least if they are semi-matte finish. They do stay a little bit wet longer, so they do provide you a little bit of time to kind of blend out. And I do bring this all the way down underneath my neck. Just bring all the way down. Can you see how even that is? Now that's just the first application, okay? Super duper sheer. If you want to add more, you can. Let's talk. By applying your foundation all over the face, you do a couple of different things. You should be minimizing as many imperfections as possible. You can also build to create a little bit more of a matte coverage. You can also start the highlighting process. To me, this is the very first step of highlighting, because as you start to go in and build your contour, you're going to start going down the scale on deeper shades. By doing that, everywhere that you don't apply the contour inevitably becomes a highlight. So if you're trying to create a contour highlight process on naked skin, remember that you're going to be fighting with the pigment in your complexion. So even if you use a super duper sheer foundation, as I did, you are initially starting the first phase of your highlight. Tip. Next, I'm going to grab my Cover FX. This is the contouring kit. This is the Deep palette. That 1, 2, 3, and 4. There are 3 different palettes that Cover FX has come out with. I think these are absolutely amazing. I'm going to start with shade number 3 and just kind of really absorb some of the product on the tip. And my contour, what I'm actually looking for, my face is extremely round. What I'm actually looking for is I want my contour to hit right in the jawline. Okay, so can you see that? Some people do this. See what that is? Now what I want to do is really start to slim this face down by bringing this contour right underneath the jawline. Regardless if your face is oval, if it's circle, if it's more narrow, you're still going to kind of place the contour in about the same spot, especially if you're doing it on the sides of the face, on the jawline. However, how far in you bring it and how far up or down you bring it is going to change depending on your facial structure. Right now, I'm just going to really concentrate on my face so I can kind of give you guys a little bit more on whys of how I'm doing it. But if you have questions, make sure you send those questions to me. You can send them to makeupbykiani@gmail.com. You can also tag me on Instagram at love_Kiani, and we can kind of have a conversation back and forth to try to come up with a better solution for you guys. But what I'm doing right now is giving you main tips and techniques that are really going to kind of simplify the process of highlighting and contouring. So, starting in the jaw area, and just control your strokes, just pushing it back and forth. Remember that foundation is still a little bit damp, so it's going to help you in the blending process. And you see I'm still using a brush. Can you see what just happened? Can you see the subtle line here? Subtle line. I also dropped my lights in my studio, so I'm not having such bright lights. So hopefully this video is coming all across. How you see it on camera, because I'm looking in my viewfinder, is really how I should see it here, okay? So, sucking that in, and you can do as much as you want. Notice also, I didn't go directly into my deepest shade, because just like when you're creating your transition shades with your eyeshadows, etc., by creating your transition shade, you can always go back on top and make that contour more in depth as you want to do that. So I'm going to go on the same angle on the opposite side of my face. And can you see where that little divot is right here? Can you see? I'm using that as a stopping point, because remember, this is going to line up with my eye right here, okay? So remember, when you start to do your highlight process, most people dip it down in this triangle. Most people have seen that type of version. I'm going to stop my contour right back here, because I don't want it to interfere with all the brightness that I want to come in the front of my face. It will all tie together in just a bit, okay? Blend it out. Now, my forehead, it's a lot of knowledge up here, which is why my forehead is so big. Anyway, I want to almost move my hairline forward, okay? So what I'm going to do is start to push this right back and forth across my forehead, just to minimize the glare that comes across my forehead, okay? Trust me, I'm so confident in my forehead. I don't mind this, but I'm definitely going to use myself as a joking point to make sure that I get the points across on why I contour so heavy across the top of my face, okay? Also, my forehead tends to push out. So what I want to do is minimize, again, the protrusion of the forehead, okay? So by putting a little bit of color right here on the temple of the forehead and blending down, what happens is right in this area right here, this little area right here, this is where I want to highlight. If the focus is here, then it won't be here. So I'm actually lowering the attention of my forehead, staying right on the temple, okay? Now, if you have a narrow forehead, this might be a step that you would want to minimize. You might not want to go as heavy, but I would still say dust along the hairline, so you create a little bit more of a flawlessness in application. You don't want to just look like you have foundation on and then contour. You want to still complete the entire look. So if you have a little bit more of a, let's say, less of a drag across your forehead. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and finish this out, pushing that directly into the hairline. Okay. Now, can you see what's happening? I've started to warm up the perimeter of my face for the most part. Okay, but look right here. What's happening right here is foundation. Can you see that? But I want to tighten this up. So guess what I'm going to do? Move right into this area, right underneath my jaw. Right there. And do it on both sides. Okay? This really sculpts out the face and the neck. If you had, too many cookies, you're coming off a holiday, coming off vacation, our face tends to show everything. So I like to warm up this part of my face as well and just kind of dip it into my foundation. Now, the last step most people are very interested in is this part of the nose. I'm using a sheer enough application of this contour foundation here, or this cream. So I'm just going to kind of pinch this brush just right here And I'm going to move it down the upper point of my nose. This being the bridge of the nose, this is the sidebar, okay? So I'm just going to see what just happened there. Can you see just by me adjusting this right down the side of that bone and pushing it into my eyebrow just a little bit? Can you see what just happened? I'm sharpening my nose. Same thing on the other side. And right underneath the nose so it doesn't look so sharp. Because what happens now, I have this cream from the foundation that's lighter. Can you see how that is? And it makes that nose look tiny, 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 which looks amazing on pictures. So I'm keeping all of this lightness here, all of the lightness down the bridge of my nose, lightness underneath the eye area. And in just a moment, it's also going to be on my chin, which brings anything that is lighter protrudes forward. Anything that is deeper is going to push it back, highlighting and contouring, okay? So back and forth on this nose just a little bit, and I'm just going to buff underneath so this part here does not become a part of the highlight process. Gradual, gradual, gradual. For those of you that are just beginning contouring, this actually might be a perfect stopping point for you. You would now grab your setting powder, dust it completely across your face. I would say probably pop a little bit of blush, a little bit of highlight, lip gloss, and the look would be complete. There you have some of my tips and tricks on how to highlight and contour your face. I'm hoping you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Remember to follow me on Instagram at love_Kiani. You will see who I'm applying these tips and techniques to. Also, if you have not subscribed to my channel, click the subscribe button. It's free and you'll receive more videos from me, Makeup by Kiani. Until next time, guys, thanks so much for watching. Hugs and kisses. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.